Liv, do you know this episode comes out on your actual birthday?
Is this when you're going to sing happy birthday to me?
I feel like if we had a bit of wine here, I'd do a little bit of a shimmy for you.
So is this the point in the podcast that I remind everybody that I hate odd numbers?
Yeah.
I am turning 37, everybody. I was so excited about turning 36. I've wanted to be 36 my whole life, and 36 has been pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But it's gone so quickly. The years, I honestly feel like I just packed away the Christmas tree and now I've put it back up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, where did my great year of being 36 go?
Right. How are you feeling?
I'm trying. I mean, as you know, I lost a very close friend a few years ago now. So I've really learnt to treat every lap around the sun with grace and gratitude. So I'm really trying to centre myself on that so that I don't get caught up on being 37. But here I am. I don't know. I am feeling good because as you get older, I mean, I'm feeling more confident in myself. I know the things that make me happy. I know the things that don't bring me joy. I'm getting much better at cutting those things out because time is so precious. So, here to raise a glass to the next year, bring on 37, and then we're one year closer to my 40th, which, as you know, I'm already planning my 40th birthday. I've already got my theme. Have I told you my theme?
No.
Okay, well, here it is, everybody. You'll want to come to this party. The theme is It's a Bit Much, because often people say about me, she's a bit much. So the party is going to be It's a Bit Much, and you have to wear an outfit.
Do I need to look extra?
That is so extra, either so glitzy or so leggy or so booby or whatever it is. It's just got to be a bit much.
Oh my God, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm so
bring
ready
on 40.
Yes.
I don't want to wish my life away, but I really want to have this party. Maybe I should have just made it my 37th. Yeah. But anyway, any excuse for a party.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like we're celebrating all round because this is our last episode for the season before we break for Christmas.
Wow.
So
it's been a joy. It's therapy, as I always say.
Another
Very
season under the belt. Yes,
well
absolutely. No, it's so good. And how are we feeling? Because this is a big year next year for us with our little cherubs, our firstborns, heading into prep. How are you feeling, Mama Bear?
I feel all sorts of different emotions. I am wondering where on earth the years have gone. I am so excited for him. He is so ready. He's going with a couple of his little buddies, which is bringing him comfort and bringing me a little bit of comfort.
Yeah.
I am pumped to make some more mum friends through school. I've really enjoyed just even the last year, the footy club and whatnot, just broadening out my community of people. So I'm looking forward to finding another group of peeps. I like recruiting into my little network, as do you.
We do love a recruit.
So
a good, what is it, VA? Value add always?
Value add. My mum tells a story about crying behind the shelter shed when I went to school. I have no doubt that in the next season we'll be talking about us shedding a few tears, feeling a bit misty-eyed as our babies go off. What about you?
At least it's not the final baby though. At least you've still got another one to...
I think by then I'll just be like, I'm done. I'm ready for school. I'm so done with daycare. I'm done with the drop-offs. I just want you both in the same place. Yes. So that's my read of the situation.
Yeah. Interesting. So I've obviously got Noah going into prep now. He'll stay. He's at a school already doing ELC. So he'll just migrate to like another building of the school. So I feel like that transition will be less emotional.
Yeah.
However, little Charlie, my baby, daycare that he goes to, that's going to be wrapping up this year because next year he starts at the school with Noah in ELC 3.
Winner.
So I almost feel how you're feeling with Tommy leaving daycare heading to school. I'm feeling I'm experiencing that with my baby just 2 years earlier because we've decided to take him through the school system.
You're going to say goodbye to all those beautiful carers that have been looking after them since they were babies.
And they literally said to me the other day, so you're going to have another baby for us to look after? A girl
no
this time,
chance.
maybe?
The shop is closed.
I'm like, if it was 100% chance of having a girl, there's about a 1% chance I'm into that. But given that there's no, I'm like, sorry, guys. And I really think, I know I will miss them. They've been so beautiful. We've had the best experience with our daycare centre. And so there's going to be that. But also, like, it's going to be so weird because I will have the one drop off and the one pick up moving forward.
You won't know yourself.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm literally like, where did my baby go? Like, he's still a baby. But
we'll have to listen back to the first episodes of Parenthood when we just could not see our way out of it, and how quickly we are now here where everything's just starting. I mean, there are new complications, right? Yes. But it's just feeling like we kind of made it a little bit for at least this next chapter.
Right. Isn't it bizarre? And look, one question I have for you, because it's probably less relevant for me, with Noah, when he started at the school in ELC3, I feel like that was our big transition into the school. We drive by the school. We try to warm him up with the idea, show him photos of the school and be like, you're going to this school. With Charlie's like, basically been a fly on the wall in this school for the last couple of years. So I'm pretty sure that when he starts next year in ELC3, he's going to be very comfortable. Half the time when I drop off Noah, Charlie wants to stay too, sort of thing. So I feel like that transition will be okay. I'm interested to see how are you getting Tom warmed up when it comes to the school?
Almost those exact same things.
Yeah, okay.
We've been driving past this school for his whole life to date, saying, that's where you're going to go to school one day.
Yep.
He did come on a school tour with us. I didn't plan it that way. It was a kinder day and I had him, so I took him. So he got to see the school. And
was he
really
excited?
He was terrified, but you could see that, he was starting to familiarise himself with it. The schools are fantastic too. They've got amazing orientation programs. So I think we've already been to a couple. We've got one more before the year is out for him to just settle and meet his teacher and see his buddies. The school have been fantastic too, including Tom with his best buddy. So we reached out to the school and said, we really think it will support his transition. And I think they say that peer contact is really, really important to support the transition. Yeah. So he knows he's got his safety blanket. Amazing. He's pumped. We'll see what it's like come January or February. But, even just little things like buying his uniform.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, he's just ready. I know he's ready. Yeah. I mean, both our boys are slightly younger. So part of me, it's been a big decision. Do I send him now or do I hold him back a year? But I know in my heart of hearts that, this is the right thing for him to go off into the big wide school world. Here's to the next, 18 years or something crazy of the education system.
Isn't that so? And it's going to be so interesting. I don't know if you know already, is there a bit of a social committee? Because I know for our school there is, for every year level, they have the social chairs. Funnily enough, I didn't put my hand up for it, even though I know that's you're
pretty time poor, so I'm kind of glad
it's the time poor factor. I'm like, podcast or social chair? Yeah. Podcast. But I'm actually very close friends with the two social chairs over the last couple of years, and they have really great organised parents only sometimes dinners and things like that. So as a cohort, and there are about 30 kids I think in total in the two, so 15 in each class with ELC that Noah's at. We've all become, you find your people, and even this year was the first year that I actually had a dinner for my birthday with just the ELC parents that I'm sort of closest to.
New mum friends.
So starting to really cultivate that, although unfortunately some of the kids, particularly two of my very close school mum friends, their kids are now going off to another school. They're not kicking on in the same school. Right. So, but I'm like, it's okay. They still live around the corner and we want to really kind of maintain that relationship where we can. But I loved that. And I can't wait, to your point, I can't wait to see who is in my group for Charlie. Do you know if they've got sort of organised things, or you just, as far as social things?
I don't know. I mean, I know that they do some big kind of fundraising events, as so many local schools do. But if they don't have it, I'll make sure they get it, because I love lunches and dinners and social events and bringing people together. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunity find your people. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday who said, just feel so excited about naturally just finding your people, whether it's structured or you just meet at, drop off or pick up.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're so fortunate. I just think, what if Noah had started during COVID, for example, prep? I remember when he did start ELC 3 off the back of COVID, and it was just drop them off at the gate, pick them up from the gate. There was no hanging around the playground after. We do that now. We pick up the kids. They often will go for a little play. The parents will stand around and chat for even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, and then we will leave. But that interaction, it sort of enables you to find your people. And then the other thing that I really love is that once you know the parents, you're typically more comfortable with the idea of, it goes to that person's house, or they have a play date, or help each other out because you live around the corner from each other. I've definitely
got this idea for school holidays that we do some sort of roster, particularly for some of us that are all working full time, that someone takes annual leave for one day and has 3 of the kids, the other person does one, and we'll split it that way. I mean, there's holiday programs and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm terrified about. Pick up, drop off and school holidays.
Because how are you going to do it? Because Noah does before school care because I start work so early. Jules does certain days that he'll drop off. I will pick up always just because of construction finishes at 3, so does school, and I'm in construction. So have you thought about before or after school care?
I'm in denial, to be honest. But on the flip side of that, we are just so fortunate in our workplaces now that there is so much flexibility, and we are still working from home. So I think working from home a couple of days, at least Mark and I doing that, we'll be able to manage pick up and drop off for at least a couple. There'll definitely be some before care and after care on 1 or 2 days. And I'm lucky to have Mum around the corner, but I'm also mindful that it's not her job to look after my kids. We'll have to juggle that, and then against the kinder hours, which are slightly different again, which is always a challenge. But you make it work. You do. You always find a way.
Yes.
You sit here right now going, I don't know how the hell this is going to work, but you always find a way somehow, through help, other mums and dads helping to, other carers. I have wondered if maybe I asked my 18-year-old neighbour if he's willing to walk Tom up to primary school. I'm just trying to think of who do I know that might be looking for a little bit of extra cash or something to just help us out a little bit on those mornings where we do have to fly off to work super early.
Yeah, I think that because that's probably the biggest shift for us, even from an organisational perspective. The school hours are 9 to 3, and then the other thing is the school holidays. So I've been quite fortunate. Our school actually has a bit of a holiday program at the school, and then there's also a few programs nearby in the neighbourhood. So and Noah's kind of loved those, which is great. And so I actually found that.
Are they expensive?
The one at the school's $100 a day. Yeah. The one around the corner is $70.
Okay.
Or $80 a day. I think daycare's $170 for a day. Oh. So that's cheap to me.
Oh, there's another podcast episode that we should talk about the rising costs.
My
there has been, for those who are receiving CCS, it has eased the pressure, but so many of the childcare centres have then pumped up their rates. But they are too experiencing, high rent, high energy, food, nappy prices that we spoke about on a previous episode. It's just, I told Mum and Dad recently how much it was to send them to daycare. They really fell off their chair.
Yeah, it's more than private school.
It's huge.
It's huge. So, but then at least with daycare, you've got the full spectrum of the hours that you can take them in. Yeah. But holiday programs, we've got a WhatsApp group with the school mums and some dads too. And we basically will say, okay, so he's going to go to this program on these days, and we'll tee it up so that at least our kid has one other friend.
Yes, good.
There's been once or twice when Noah's gone on his own, but I'm quite fortunate because he's quite an outgoing child. He sort of walks in and within, a couple of minutes he's found someone that he's jumping on a jumping castle with.
The 10-year-olds all think that the 5-year-old is 10 and he acts like a 10-year-old too. So
he goes up to the 10-year-old. It's like, I got this. I got this. But so I think there's ways to set it up so that because for a while there I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll keep him home one day, but of that schedule. But then he was getting bored at home and he's like, I'd much rather just go and be active and do those things. So, I mean, I'm sure, do you know about local ones as well in your area?
Yeah, I know there's one that's run through the primary school and I'm sure, I mean, I used to go to different holiday programs, basketball camps, and tennis camps and various other things. So we'll definitely look at that. I've long had a dream of being able to have one at our workplace, but we're not the size to be able to support that. But it's a real thing for all working parents. School holidays is always such a headache. As we said before, at least workplaces now and management are kind of thinking, it's fine, just get your work done. However you get your work done, we get that school holidays is a mission. Whereas 5 years ago, if you were at work,
bad, mate.
Get to the office, take annual leave.
Yep, 100%.
So.
How did you land on your primary school? So I feel like we definitely had an episode about school choices. So for those listening, go back to that because Liv had a very comprehensive list of all the things she was looking for in a school. You've landed on your school now. What was the clincher?
I think that I have been telling Tommy for the last 5 years that was his primary school. So in many ways, perhaps I'd made the decision before I'd even seen the school. Yeah. What complicated the decision for us was the other school, the comparable school in the area that we're actually zoned to. We went and did a tour and I fell in love with it. I thought the leadership was outstanding. I was a real muso at school. They had an amazing music room, amazing extracurricular programs, amazing play space, ovals. With two boys, I wanted space. Yeah. And I still hear myself talking about this school and you feel the love. Yes. I really had a good feeling about it. But why did we choose the other primary school? Location. Yeah,
it's walking distance.
Yeah, it's walking distance. We don't have to cross a major road to get there. Tommy's little best friend, that's a major draw card. They have such a special relationship. It might change, but I wasn't willing to disrupt that at this point. It's still an amazing school. It probably is better, looking at NAPLAN, although I take that with a bit of a grain of salt at this point in time. The other school was really beautiful. They'd had a lot of money poured into it. So, to look, you go, well, this is really schmick, whereas where we're sending him is a bit more tired, run down, but they are about to do a whole heap of development. So you just have to go with the gut. And at the end, head and heart said, no, I think that's the right decision. What does a 4.5-year-old know too? But I was trying to include him in the, he's got friends going to the other school. Yes. Where do you want to be? I mean, he'd change his answer on every second day, but I've tried to make him as part of the process as we possibly can. I think the other thing was that it is a feed, well, not necessarily a feeder, but there are more children that go to that school that are likely to go to the high school that I've got pegged for him at this point in time. So I like that as an idea too.
Is this the high school that's potentially a private school? Are you still thinking that?
If we can scale our careers and earning potential and make it all work. Then,
It's interesting because we can even touch on private schools here. So one thing is for those who aren't parents yet, or for those in general who might be thinking about schools for their little ones, if you're in Melbourne, the earlier you put your kids down for the schools, the private schools, the better.
It's a bit like the MCC list, right? Like the day that they're born.
The day that they're born, get your forms organised, just to give yourselves options, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but at least you've got them down. I had done that. I think with Noah, we waited like 2 weeks till after he was born. With Charlie, he was straight on the list from I think the date he was born, and it's amazing those 2 weeks, we've already received acceptances for Charlie to attend a certain private school, and Noah, I called them up and I was like, oh, so what about Noah? He's 18 months older. Oh, no, he's further down the list because it was, and because of his birth date placement. So Noah's November, Charlie's June. Like I've spoken to so many people about this because I'm like,
my God,
how do they work out? Right. And so the November babies, obviously for that year, they're further down the list. Plus we waited 2 extra weeks. So I feel like we're sitting here for Noah, whereas Charlie's like already been accepted to one of the schools.
I waited years because life administration, as you know, is not my strong suit. So who knows if I'll even get in. And then I don't have none of my family went to this school, which is another thing for private schools
Yeah.
in Melbourne.
Yeah.
That you're
You get
pushed up the
preference.
list if, dad
Yes.
or uncle or grandpa or, I don't know,
Yes.
someone.
Yeah, you're an alumni
So,
family.
We
Absolutely.
love alumni.
Oh, we
private
love an
schools.
alumni. But the thing is as well, and I wonder if it, like the schools that we're looking at for high school are probably the 2 or 3 most competitive schools for boys to get into, right? So everyone.
Are they all boys? Or
they're all boys.
So you're looking at
yeah.
no co-ed,
all boys for high school.
Yeah.
And with the boys being at the school that they're at the moment, it's almost a feeder school into those 2 or 3 really prominent boys' schools in Melbourne. That is super competitive. So that's where Charlie got the email, but Noah didn't. I'm like, surely, what the hell?
Come on, Noah.
I guess the point is, to those of you who are considering maybe you're wanting to go down the private school path and you are in Melbourne or probably wherever you live, always good to give yourselves options and get your paperwork in ASAP.
It just really sucks to have to pay the administration fee.
I know, that's the thing. We put the boys down for, I think, 4 or 5 schools because we just didn't know. And we're just doing the money bills in the air, just take our money.
At least they're preparing you for what it will be like.
Yes, absolutely. And look, the other thing to think about is even talking about preparation, if private school is the way you're considering going in the future even, is, look, we pay so much, as we were saying earlier, for daycare. We're managing that to some extent because we kind of have to. So then it's kind of, and the way in which we're managing that is that with every time, and we've spoken about budgets, I think in a couple of episodes ago, Liv, but every week an amount will come out of both mine and Jules's pay and into a bank account that then services daycare and school. Yeah. So and that helps us plan so that we're not sitting there one day going, shit, the bills come through and where are we going to find the money? So we've been very organised in, and plugging away, putting a little bit of cash aside so that when those school fees hit, we can sort of look to, so understandably everyone's got different circumstances and things, but just things to start thinking about.
And seeing it as, it hurts as an expense, it feels like an expense because it is such a significant amount of money that will no doubt be even greater in 5-6 years' time when they are in year 7. That's when you're sending, or obviously a bit earlier. So, the more that you can kind of get ahead and see it as an investment in kids, if you can afford it.
If that's, if you can afford it and that's
a
value for you.
The future will has in store.
It's so many things to think about. It's like, where are you going to live? And will you be near that school? And, but that's why,
Mark often says to me about private school, we've got a really good public high school just around the corner. And he says, Liv, why would we spend this money on private school when we could, take them on an overseas holiday instead every year and educate them that way, pay for a tutor, and we can get, there's so many arguments for and against. It does come down to affordability and,
your values, totally. Some people, to your point, feel as though, the education system isn't something that I feel is worthwhile investing in. I can perhaps do it my way,
or you can do it other ways.
Exactly.
You can do it other ways where you're supplementing the learning with additional extracurricular. We're so lucky to live in this country where the education system is very good and some of our best schools across the country are state and public schools. So,
and even schools, think about here in Melbourne, we've got Melbourne High, where from year 9 onwards they run an entrance exam to get into, and it goes from year 9 to year 12, but they are always the top 2 of VCE scores in the state, and that is a public school, obviously, with a written exam to get into. So I guess the point is that there are so many different avenues people take
options
in order to fulfill, I guess, what is important to them as parents.
And what's important to the kid. I will not be sending my kids to private school if that's not the right decision for them as children. I really firmly believe that. It'll very much, the school that I think is right for Tom might be a school that is not right for Harry, right? So I'm really being open-minded about, what our options are depending on the sort of kid and their aspirations and what their needs are around their learning and their future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, I want to give them the very best opportunity and right start, but that start can look really different for lots of different kids.
Oh, absolutely. And I think about even little Charlie, my second, he has so many girlfriends. So for us, even from a primary school perspective, my kids, Noah goes to a co-ed primary. That was really important. Even Noah had a lot of girl friends. And I thought, funnily enough, the school that Charlie got into, the very competitive one, is all boys from primary. And I'm like, that would not fly for him.
Yeah.
As he's like, you know, the child that he is, he's very loves the feminine activities as much as he loves the dinosaurs and he likes to kind of, and so you're right to that point. You are sort of looking at the child and going, okay, I've got these options here, but what's best for
music,
them?
Drama, academic, not academic.
Yeah.
No.
Like single sex, not single
values
sex.
of the school.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very important. Oh, it's a long list. We might have to do another episode on that.
Well, next time
we will actually, maybe next season we will do Have We Made the Right Decision?
Yes. Stay tuned. Part 2 to this conversation. Well, thank you to everyone who has tuned in to us for, 100 plus episodes at this point. I can't keep count. And thank you, Liv, always for being by my side during this whole podcast.
You don't give me a choice. But no, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to the Christmas break. We'll be taking several weeks off, but likely be back in your ears when school commences. I will keep you updated on Insta with that. So everyone, wishing you a fab Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Have a great summer holidays.
And we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.